Good morning, students. So today we are going to start the next topic related to circulation. We have completed respiration and we are going to proceed further with circulation. So what is circulation? Circulation is a type of a process where there is a flow of blood, correct? Isn't it? First, you know very well, the major pumping organ of the body is heart. So from the heart, the blood generally flows through different parts of the body. So the process where the flow of blood takes place from the heart to the different parts of the body and from different parts of the body back to the heart is generally called circulation. So whenever the blood flows from heart to the different parts of the body, it is a oxygenated blood. And whenever the blood flows from back different parts of the body to the heart, it is a deoxygenated blood. So, for the very first time, this circulatory system was generally given by the scientist William Harvey. He was the first scientist who generally studied the circulatory system, and that's why he is generally called father of circulatory system. Now, let's talk about the blood. You know very well, blood is a viscous connective tissue fluid, and the branch of the biology which generally deals with the study of the blood is generally called hematology. Hema is nothing but blood and logy is study. So the study of blood is generally called hematology. Now you can see this is the structure of the heart. So any kind of a study which generally relates to the heart is generally called cardiology. So cardiology is the branch of biology which generally deals with the study of heart, and hematology is the branch of a biology which generally deals with the study of the blood. Okay, and any physician or a person who generally studies about the heart is generally called cardiologist. So today we are going to study first external morphology of human heart. Right? What is morphology? Morphology is external appearance of an organism. So you can see I have just given you a structure of a heart, and we are going to study only the external morphology of human heart. So before starting with that, whenever you study about the heart is a major pumping organ of the human body, right? Isn't it? When I talk about the pumping organ of the human body, it means it generally pumps the blood to the different parts of the body. So the first point, origin, from where the heart is originated. The heart is mesodermal in origin. What do you mean by mesoderm? The middle germinal layer. So from that the heart is generally originated. Let's talk about the size of human heart. The size of human heart is exactly one's clenched fist, right? So if you see the size of a fist, like that is the size of the human heart. Shape. You can see it is a hollow, muscular and somewhat conical in shape, right? It is a hollow, muscular because it is covered by the cardiac muscle. It is hollow as it generally contains the blood, and it is a conical structure. Next, weight. The weight of the human heart is somewhat 250 to 300 grams. That is the average weight of the human heart. Color, you know very well, it is somewhat reddish brown in color. Why it is reddish brown in color? Because it generally contains your blood, and it is generally surrounded by the muscles. Now, let's talk about the layers of the heart. The human heart is generally covered by a double layered membrane. That double layered membrane is generally called pericardium. Okay, so this is the entire heart. You can see that the human heart is generally covered by a double layer membrane, and that double layer membrane of the human heart is generally called pericardium. Now, when you talk about pericardium, as it is double layer, it is divided into two parts. One is outer fibrous pericardium, and second is generally called serous pericardium. Okay, so outer is fibrous and inner is serous pericardium. Again, the serous pericardium is divided into the two important layers. One is called outer parietal serous pericardium and inner visceral serous pericardium. So in between the outer parietal and inner visceral serous pericardium, you can see a hollow space. That space is called pericardial cavity, and that pericardial cavity is filled with the pericardial fluid. Okay, now what is the significance of pericardial fluid? Number one, it prevents the heart from mechanical shock and mechanical injury, right? Okay, any kind of a mechanical shock and mechanical injury is generally prevented by the pericardial fluid. Second, it generally provides oxygen to the heart. And third, it prevents the heart from desiccation. What do you mean by desiccation? Desiccation means the heart should be always moist. It should not be dry. So for that, the pericardial fluid is present. Okay, now heart walls, there are three heart walls. right? Outer, middle and inner. Outer is generally called as epicardium, middle myocardium, and innermost is generally called endocardium. Epicardium being the outermost layer, it is generally made up of flat epithelial cells called mesothelium. Middle one, which is generally called myocardium, it is generally made up of cardiac muscle, which plays an important role in contraction and relaxation of the human heart. And whatever the innermost layer is there, that is generally called endocardium, and it is generally made up of mesothelium and endothelial cells. Okay. Now, you know human heart is four-chambered. So, these are the two upper chambers, these are the two lower chamber. Upper two chambers of the heart are called auricle, or they are also called as atrium or atria, and lower two chambers of the heart are generally called as ventricle. Okay. So, let's talk about auricles, the upper two chambers of the heart, correct? They are generally thin walled. They are small and thin walled. They are generally called receiving chamber. Why they are called receiving chamber? Because they generally receive the blood. Okay. Now, it is divided into two parts. One is called right atrium and second is called left atrium. Right atrium and left atrium are divided by a septum. That septum is called interauricular septum. Okay. Now you can see the right atrium is larger than the left atrium. Similarly, ventricle. If they are upper two chambers, they are lower two chambers of the heart. They are large and they are generally thick walled. They are called as the distributing chamber. Why they are called distributing chambers? Because they distribute the blood to the different parts of the body. Okay, it is divided into, this is called right ventricle and this is left ventricle, divided by a septum, that is called interventricular septum. And you can see here left ventricle is larger than the right ventricle. Here the right ventricle is larger, here right auricle is larger, and here left ventricle is larger. Okay, now see, this right ventricle, from the right ventricle a artery arises. This artery is generally called pulmonary artery. So from the right ventricle the pulmonary artery arises, and this pulmonary artery is the artery which carries deoxygenated blood. Whereas from the left ventricle the biggest artery arises. You can see here this artery is generally called as aorta, and aorta generally carries oxygenated blood. Okay, so from the right ventricle pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood, and from the left ventricle the biggest artery aorta carries generally oxygenated blood. And the last one, you can see the coronary artery is present, right? And this coronary artery generally supplies oxygenated blood to the heart. The entire heart and the cardiac muscles are generally provided with the oxygenated blood with the help of the coronary artery. This is the external morphology of human heart. Okay, so that was external morphology of human heart. Now we are going to study a very important topic, that is anatomy of human heart. Now what exactly is anatomy? Anatomy means internal structure of an organism. Here in external we generally saw only the appearance of the heart, right? But in internal structure we are going to study the entire mechanism of human heart. Okay, so we do not need any introduction here, but we can say that here the right hand side and the left hand side of the human heart is totally divided, right? Remember one thing, that is right hand side always contains deoxygenated blood and the left hand side always contains oxygenated blood. Okay, so as we said, human heart is four chambered, that is upper two chamber auricle and lower two chamber ventricle. Similar points we are going to repeat here. Auricles, upper two chamber, they are generally small, they are generally thin walled, and they are generally called receiving chamber as they receive the blood. Okay, this is called superior vena cava. The another name for this is precaval vein, and this is generally called inferior vena cava, also called as the postcaval vein. Okay, so what happens here is that superior vena cava and inferior vena cava brings deoxygenated blood from the upper and lower part of the body to the right atrium. This is right atrium, correct? And this is your left atrium. So here deoxygenated blood is brought by the superior vena cava from the upper part of the body and inferior vena cava from the lower part of the body. Similarly, this is your left atrium. So left atrium always receives oxygenated blood via pulmonary veins which are connected to the lungs. So as we know, lung is a purifying organ, correct? Okay, so in the lungs there is a oxygenated blood, and that oxygenated blood via pulmonary vein will enter into the left atrium. Okay, so this is right atrium, this is left atrium. Here there is deoxygenated blood, here there is oxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood is coming from superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, and here the oxygenated blood is coming via pulmonary veins. Okay, so as we all know that the human heart undergoes rhythmic contraction and relaxation. Okay, so when the auricles undergo contraction, the ventricles undergo relaxation. Vice versa, when the ventricles undergo contraction, auricles will undergo relaxation. So let's talk about when the auricles undergo contraction. Due to the contraction, forcefully the blood from the right atrium will enter into the right ventricle, and the blood from the left atrium will enter into the left ventricle. I mean to say, deoxygenated blood will enter into the right ventricle and oxygenated blood will enter into the left ventricle. Okay, now the blood is totally filled in the ventricles. Okay, whatever the blood has come here, should it go back to here? No, right? So to prevent the backflow of the blood, here tricuspid valve is present. Tricuspid valve prevents the backflow of blood from right ventricle to the right auricle. Okay, and also whatever the blood has entered into the left ventricle should not flow back here. That's why here the bicuspid valve is present. Okay, so moment when the auricles undergo contraction, tricuspid will open from here, bicuspid will open from here, the deoxygenated will enter here and oxygenated will enter here, and again tricuspid valve and bicuspid valve will close. Okay, now let's talk about the ventricle. What are ventricles? Lower two chambers of the heart. They are thick walled and they are generally called distributing chamber. Why they are called distributing chamber? Because they distribute the blood to the different parts of the body. Okay, divided into right ventricle and left ventricle by interventricular septum. Now if you talk about the ventricles, you can see the ventricles generally have some ridges and furrows. These ridges and furrows are generally called columnae carneae. Okay, so columnae carneae or trabeculae carneae, these are the ridges and the furrows which are generally seen in the ventricle. Now, this is your tricuspid valve on the right hand side. This is your bicuspid valve on the left hand side, correct? Okay, tricuspid valve and the bicuspid valve are generally attached to the papillary muscle by chordae tendineae. Okay, chordae tendineae are the structures, they are the tissues which generally connects the tricuspid valve and the bicuspid valve to the papillary muscle. Okay, now here the ventricles are totally filled with the blood. That is right ventricle with the deoxygenated blood and left ventricle with the oxygenated blood. Now the ventricles will undergo contraction and auricles will undergo relaxation. As the ventricle undergo contraction, forcefully the blood will come here, and when the ventricles undergo contraction, the deoxygenated blood is carried by the pulmonary artery. Correct? The deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle will be carried by the pulmonary artery towards the lung for oxygenation. I told you lung is a purifying organ. This is the deoxygenated blood. So deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle will be carried by the pulmonary artery towards the lung for oxygenation. Right? Similarly, at the same time, from the left ventricle, the oxygenated blood. What kind of blood? Oxygenated blood is carried by the biggest artery, that is aorta, to the different parts of the body. Okay, so deoxygenated is carried by pulmonary artery to the lungs for oxygenation, and oxygenated blood by aorta is carried to the different parts of the body. As the circulation takes place twice, it is generally called double circulation. Now what happens here is that this is your inferior vena cava. The opening of the inferior vena cava is generally guarded by the Oustrian valve, right? And the opening of the coronary artery or the coronary sulcus is generally guarded by the Thabassian valve, right? So these are the valves which generally prevents the backflow of the blood. So here it is guarded by Oustrian valve and the coronary artery is generally guarded by the Thabassian valve. Same is with the pulmonary artery and the aorta. Whatever the deoxygenated blood is carried by pulmonary artery, should it come back here? No. So to prevent the backflow of the blood, pulmonary valves are present. Pulmonary valves will prevent the backflow of blood from pulmonary artery to the right ventricle. Similarly, this is your aorta which carries the oxygenated blood, correct? Isn't it? So this blood should not come back to left ventricle. That's why semilunar valves are present. Semilunar valves will prevent the backflow of blood from aorta to the left ventricle. Okay, so this is the internal structure of human heart, that is anatomical structure of human heart. Thank you.